Welcome to the deep dive.
Glad to be back.
Today, we're really tackling some fundamental stuff. Questions about the self.
Choice, responsibility, the mind, the brain, all the big ones.
Exactly. And our mission, you could say, is to sift through some pretty challenging ideas, philosophical, religious, even evolutionary ones.
Yeah, trying to find the core insight, Where does free will actually live in all this?
It's fascinating because, like you said, the sources we're looking at today really clash on this.
They absolutely do. So I think the critical place to start is, well, does your conscious mind even make the decisions?
Or is it just sort of watching the show after the fact?
Precisely. Is it just an afterthought?
Okay, let's unpack that. One of our sources dives into this idea of epiphenomenalism. William James really brought it into the modern discussion.
Right.
What does that actually mean for our feeling of choosing?
Well, it essentially means that your mental events, your thoughts, intentions, that feeling of deciding, they're just secondary effects.
Secondary effects,
Yeah.
not the cause.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No causal role at all. James had this brilliant analogy. He said conscious experience is like smoke rising from a train.
Smoke from a train.
Yeah. All the real work, the engine driving things, the decision making, that happens unconsciously down below, so to speak.
And the conscious thought, the intention is just the puff of smoke we see.
Just a visible byproduct. That's
Yeah.
the idea.
Vera, if my thought, my conscious decision, like I'm going to pick up this pen, is just a story I tell myself after my brain already started the movement, then what's the point? Why would consciousness even evolve? It sounds metabolically expensive for just smoke.
And that is the huge evolutionary challenge James himself wrestled with.
Right.
If consciousness gives no adaptive edge, if it's not part of some feedback loop that helps us survive or make better choices, why is it here?
It feels like it must do something.
It's still one of the biggest unanswered questions in philosophy of mind, really.
Yeah.
What's the function of subjective experience if it doesn't actually steer the ship?
Okay, that's a major tension. But you can't deny how it feels, right? The subjective experience is overwhelmingly one of choosing.
Absolutely.
Even if I know my choices are conditioned, like, okay, don't go food shopping when you're starving.
Sure, we know those things influence us.
But in the moment itself, I feel radically free.
And that feeling, that profound sense of absolute, unconditioned freedom, that's exactly what Jean-Paul Sartre gets in.
With vertigo, right? That's his example.
Yes, but he flips the common understanding.
I always thought vertigo was simply the fear of heights, the fear of falling.
Sartre argues it's not the fear of accidentally falling, it's the agitated awareness, almost excitement, that at the next moment we may choose to throw ourselves over the edge.
Choose to jump, wow.
It's the raw recognition of our own capacity to decide anything instantly against all prior reasons or safety instincts.
So that freedom, it's absolute, it just resets constantly.
Completely. And this is where his example of the gambler comes in.
The gambler who resolves to quit.
Exactly. That resolve, made yesterday or even a minute ago, means nothing right now when faced with a choice again.
So past promises to yourself are irrelevant in the moment of choice.
According to Sartre, yes. You are, in his words, condemned to choose anew every single moment, utterly free from your past decisions.
Okay, that's a lot. Radical freedom.
And this idea of absolute moment-to-moment freedom slams headfirst into our next big problem.
Which is?
The theological paradox, divine foreknowledge.
Ah, right. If God knows everything.
Omniscience, yeah. If God knows what you will choose before you actually choose it.
Then it seems like the choice is already fixed, right? There's already a fact about what I'm going to do.
Precisely. If that fact exists beforehand, then could you have possibly chosen otherwise?
It seems to negate free will entirely, and it makes divine judgment seem, well, unjust if we couldn't help what we did.
A huge theological knot. But St. Anselm offered a really elegant way out.
Okay. How did he resolve it?
He argued the whole confusion comes from a faulty assumption that God experiences time like we do.
That God exists in time.
Yes. Anselm says God exists outside of time altogether.
Outside of time. How does that work?
Imagine seeing all moments, past, present, future, simultaneously. Like looking down on the entire timeline at once.
So for God, it's all happening now.
In a manner of speaking, yes. From our perspective, moving through time, the future is open. It feels undetermined. We make our choices.
But God just sees the whole picture, including the choices we will make, but without causing them.
Exactly. Our future remains genuinely open from our point of view, yet God sees the entirety of it, unfolded. It doesn't predetermine the choice for us.
That's quite a concept. It avoids the paradox.
It's a classic solution, very influential.
So where does this leave us? We've got epiphenomenalism suggesting maybe our consciousness is just smoke, just an observer.
A challenge from the brain side, you could say.
And then we've got Sartre insisting on this radical, absolute, almost terrifying freedom in every single moment.
The deep subjective experience.
And Anselm giving us a way to reconcile that freedom, potentially, with a concept like divine foreknowledge by putting God outside time.
Right. So whether you look inward to the brain or outward to theology, the nature of choice is clearly, well, it's messy.
Definitely messy. There's this real conflict between the feeling of total freedom and these frameworks that seem to constrain it.
The engine room versus the feeling on the deck, maybe?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Okay, let's leave our listeners with something to chew on.
Sounds good.
We mentioned Sartre's radical freedom. Another existentialist, Søren Kierkegaard, talked about Adam's original choice, the one in Eden.
The origin of sin.
Kierkegaard linked that choice to profound anxiety angst because Adam literally had no concept of consequences. He'd chosen to complete uncertainty.
He didn't know what bad even meant yet.
Right. So if our own radical freedom today, as our sources suggest, always involves this uncertainty of actions where the meaning of our choices will only emerge after we have made them.
If we're always choosing without fully knowing the outcome or significance,
does that mean all genuine radical freedom necessarily comes with a dose of that same existential angst? Is uncertainty the price of freedom?
a heavy thought to end on. Something for you all to consider.